Hey, welcome back to the Purpose and Prosper podcast. I am so excited to be back with you. For those of you who have been locked in, tuned into my first 5 episodes, thank you so much for your support and for listening. And for those of you who are new here, hey. So let me give you a bit of background for my newbies. I have been in media for the last 18 years as a radio personality. I have worked with Radio 1 Cleveland and Detroit, but the bulk of my career has been with Radio 1 Cleveland, which is also my hometown. I've also been an entrepreneur. I've launched 2 product-based businesses as well as grown my personal brand and others. And that is my focus in this season as a brand and business strategist and keynote speaker. So, for those of you who are like, girl, where you been? What you been doing? I've got so much good tea to tell you all right? The time that I have taken away, I have learned so much, and it's been so integral in building what I need to sustain in this season. And I know that for those of you who are on this journey of trying to build the vision, the business, those things, your brands, all those things that God has placed into your heart to do, this is going to be an episode that blesses you. Trust, all right? So let's get straight into it. I started this podcast just a couple of months after I was laid off from my radio job here in Cleveland. Now, for those who do not know, getting laid off and fired in radio was actually quite normal. It is the name of the game in both radio, TV, film, all that stuff. That's what happens. Shows get started, they get stopped, people get hired, they get fired. Job security has never been a thing in my business, and it's actually not my first time being let go, but nevertheless, it is still being without a job. So there are going to be changes that happen. And in this season, my switch from being a full-time radio personality and then part-time entrepreneur and mom, all those things kind of got shifted to me now putting all of my focus into my family, into my businesses, and now this podcast. And I did not have the systems in place, y'all. I jumped right into it, thinking that it was going to be somewhat similar to what I had been doing, but it is so different when it now becomes your full-time focus. Because listen, doing all of this, all the things that folks like to say, is not easy. And the motivation and the inspiration is not always there. But the systems that you have in place that create order and that organize all the tasks and the things that you need to do to push your business, your brand, and all those things that you are going and growing towards, that is what will keep it sustainable. No matter what you're feeling, no matter how tired you might be, because you're going to get tired, you're going to be unmotivated. I had the season of that because when things are changing and when it's new, you literally are coming into new normals. You're going to have to create systems that are new and that work in that new life, in that new normal for you. Those things that might have worked before may not always work in what you are building towards. And so making that shift and being able to move and transition and understand the tweaks that need to be made, those are the things that are going to allow you to sustain in your new season. And I'm telling you this from experience. And that is why I wanted to talk about that in this episode, because I literally lived it, switching and changing the systems in which I was running my life, my household, and my businesses so that I could be able to make this sustainable for the long term, right? Not just moving fast, trying to hop into something new, trying to hop into something that, I would be able to do for the time being. I'm creating legacy. And when you're creating legacy, you have to think long term. You're not thinking about what's going to work today. You want to think about what's going to work tomorrow, next week, next month. How can I create systems that I can stick to and that will give me longevity in whatever it is that I'm doing? So the scripture that has been on me heavy in this season, y'all, is James 2:17, faith without works is dead. Now, here's the thing. That scripture, normally, you think about just doing the thing, action, getting into it, doing the thing to get it going, right? Putting feet to your faith so that those things that you are praying and believing for can happen. That is all true. But as I was sitting in it and really thinking about what it meant for me at this time, in this season of my life, it wasn't just me doing work, because I've always been a person who got things done, being busy, always moving. But it was about the structure that was making this season different. How was I structuring the work that I was doing so that God could bless it in a new way like he had never blessed before? And that's what I want to talk about, the systems and the structure that you are bringing into your business and enter your life that God can use in new ways. Because in this season, we want new blessings, we want new increase, new growth. And sometimes that requires us to switch things up a little bit, not doing the things we used to do the way we used to do them. And even though they could be working, do not get me wrong. Sometimes something that is working might need to be refined so that it can be even more optimized to work even better. I think a lot of times we think, well, listen, it's been working this far, I'm not going to bother it. But is it giving you the exact results that you want? Is it just getting you by? Is it working, but you still are like struggling to make it work? Then that means it might be time to get back down to the drawing board, switch it up a little bit, try something new, get organized, get structured, and get the new systems in place so that you can optimize not only your time, but your productivity. The other side to it is we are always praying for the overflow. We want more. We always want the increase. But when we really stop, sit back and think about it, if God gave us everything we were asking for today in our businesses alone, would our structures and systems be able to handle it? Could your system handle an overload of sales? Could you handle an overload of new clients, new customers, and sales? Is your system optimized for the overflow that you're even praying for? That is a thing that you have to ask yourself. Am I prepared for the things that I'm even praying for God to do in my life? That's when you say, oh, okay, now it's time for me to think forward, not just in the now. Let me get ready and stay ready so that I don't have to get ready when it comes. And the systems I have learned in this season are so important because, baby, when I tell you that I don't feel like it's are going to be so prevalent when you are trying to build a thing, I'm telling you that I'm too tired, I am too stressed, I am too overwhelmed. All those reasons that you will give yourself that really sound legitimate, because they really are to an extent, will stop you from actually doing the things because the order isn't even there. You're trying to move with pure motivation that is non-existent. You're trying to get yourself to do a thing that you don't have a system to do. So you have to post. You've got to create content. You've got to make a podcast. You've got to do this in your business, that, and you don't have it structured in a way so that it is organized and it makes it easier to do. So you get overwhelmed quickly. You're like, wait, it's too much to do. I'm tired. You started at 7 a.m., ready, motivated to go. By 12 noon, you was done. That's just how things go. But when you have the systems in place that lets you know on this day, I do this task, and the next. Now on Tuesday, I do this and that, and Wednesday and so forth. Then you start to create the systems so that you can be as productive as possible. And the same goes for your business. When you have the systems on the back end in order, you have everything set up in a way that you don't have to chase after every little piece of the puzzle because you have it laid out ahead of time. So now let's get into the good stuff, y'all. How to actually build a system that will help grow your business, your profit margin, and just keep your life in order. All right. So 3 S's. I like it because system, you know. The first one, I've said this word over and over already, structure. Structure is where faith meets discipline. I'm going to say that again. Structure is where faith meets discipline. Discipline might be literally the most important characteristic that you can carry in almost anything in life. Period. Discipline is how you will wake up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is how you will eat the foods that you may not feel like eating, but you know will keep you healthy. It is what keeps you moving in the gym when you don't want to go there. It is what does all the things that are hard to attain. It's how you get there, through your discipline. The things that have the big payoff, but are hard to actually get to. Your discipline is what literally gives you the tools to do so. The key thing that I have learned since fully not working for anyone else is I have to give my time to my business the way I gave my time to someone else's 9 to 5. That is really one of the things that is the hardest thing to grasp for those of us who have always worked traditionally for other people. We have to treat our businesses and our brands the way we treated the person who was giving us a check every 2 weeks, or the business that was giving us a check every 2 weeks. Now, don't get it wrong. It is the, immediate gratification that comes from knowing, and also that stability that comes from knowing whatever you do in 2 weeks, you getting a check. In your own business, though, you can't play around. Whatever you do that gets done right is how you hopefully get a check, right? And it's about that faith and structure, that faith and discipline that will get you to those things. But you have to literally map out your time the same way that you would at a 9 to 5. If you've ever worked a 9 to 5 before, you know how that goes. There are certain things that are expected of you at certain time periods by certain deadlines. That's how you have to treat your own business and brand. You have to say, listen, if I'm not doing this by this time, it's a problem. If this is not done by this deadline, that's a problem. Those are the things that you will do, those habits that you start to create, that discipline in your own brand and business that will help you to start to see growth and increase in all areas of your business. I promise you that. So for me, I have systems for creating content, for making my podcast, for prayer time, for when I'm going to cook for my family. All those little things have to be literally structured so that I can get them done in the set times without burning out. That is what structure helps you do. It helps you to get all the things done on your to-do list without burning out. Now, you're going to be tired. Of course, that is natural, but you will not be all over the place when you know what has to get done by what time and when. So if you have a set day to do something, it actually takes the stress off of figuring out what it is that you have to literally attack for that day, because you know exactly what is going to get done today and what you are going to do, because you have mapped it out and you created structure in that area of your life or your business and brand. So an app that I'm using right now that I absolutely love, and this is not a paid advertisement, y'all, yet, we gonna speak that into existence though, is actually called Structured. That's the name of the app. It's called Structured, and it literally does just that. It helps to structure my day minute by minute. The way my mind moves, I can get distracted on anything because I have so many things running in my mind day in and day out, so many things I have to do. And this helps me to time block my days. Literally, it's an app that has you by the minute writing out what you're going to do. And you can do it for the day, the week, the month, the year. It's awesome. You can repeat. So if you have not used Structure, I would recommend that. Of course, there are so many other apps that you can use to help time block your days or plan out your days. But that is one of the apps that I am loving right now. And also you can get my success habit systems, because that talks about that, getting your times together, the discipline and the habits that you have to create daily to push forward the productivity that you want to get out. That is how you do it. Just go to robinsettler.com and I'll place a link for it in the description as well. The second S is strategy. Now that is a place where many of us get stuck. We have the vision. We will have it, the dream. We can see it, baby, but we have no idea how to implement it. We have no idea how to take the vision and make it plain. I'm talking about putting it down on paper into something tangible that you can do task by task by task. That is what a strategy is. It is taking the vision and bringing it down into the steps to make it real, okay? And your strategy is what will get you from vision to profit, from vision to growth. Strategy means that there is a plan in place because you have done the work, you have studied your data, and you know where the income comes from. You know where to work on, the things to do to drive the profit. And that is what your strategy brings you. So you want to know your data. You want to know your numbers. You want to know what is happening behind the scenes, behind all the frills and the pretty stuff, right? That is where the real work gets done. That is how you build a strategy for sustainability and for growth. Now, the third and final S is stewardship. Now, let's talk about stewardship for a little bit now. When God sees how we are moving and working, even with the little bit that we have, with the few resources that we might have access to, but that we are not making that an excuse to not get the work done, not making that an excuse to do the things that we need to get to the growth, to get to the increase, that's when we start to see the increase in action. Stewardship means tracking what's working, like I said before, knowing your data, understanding what your goals are that you have set for yourself, and making the plan to stick to what it is that you're going to do and how you're going to get there. You are staying faithful. Even when the results are quiet, you're not stopping just because you don't get that immediate gratification. Just because you don't automatically see the numbers on the post, right? All the views aren't coming in. All the reels aren't turning up like you would like them to. You are still posting. You are still making your content. You are still promoting your brand. You are still promoting your business. Why? Because you understand that it's not going to be an overnight thing, but through your consistency, through your belief and your faith and doing the thing that you have been called to do, as long as you push forward, as long as you have those systems in place, that discipline to go forth in that vision, that you will eventually get the fruits of your labor. Your systems create momentum. That is what pushes you forward. So creating systems for yourself, like I said, even if it's just from the household, the times that you're going to cook, how you're going to get the kids prepared for school before the next day, right? Prepare yourself for your next day. And then in your business, right? What task are you going to tackle day by day by day? Map it out. Don't leave it up to guesswork every day, because that motivation, like I said, and that inspiration will be gone. If you think you're going to be motivated enough to get up, put that makeup on, do your hair, cut the camera on every day, you won't be. Let me just go ahead and just break it down to you right now. You won't. But if you know what is required on those specific days and times, right, and batch it so that you can have a system where it is not required of you every day, but you have organized yourself so that you know what you're going to get done so that you can have time to breathe, that is when you can push forward. In your business, when you know you have to talk to your clients, when you know you have projects to push out, you have to organize and structure your days and your time around the ways to be the most productive, not waiting on the times where you feel like it, but doing it based off of a system that you know works. So just so you remember your 3 S's, they are structure, strategy, and stewardship, all right? It is with those 3 things that you create the systems that will help to build and grow every area of not only your brand and your business, but also your life. The peace of mind that you get from just the organization alone will help drive the needle forward and help, like I said, build that momentum toward the things that you want to do and you want to accomplish. Those are the ways that you get to the goal, not just staying busy, not just, doing things, trying to make it feel like you're going somewhere, but actually going somewhere, actually getting to the place that you know that you want to be. May that be increasing your profit, increasing your brand growth, increase in all the areas of your business. You have to have the systems that help you get there. I hope that this episode spoke to you in the importance of having systems in your life and business that help to create sustainability so that you can grow and see the fruit of the labor that you are actually putting in. And for those of you who are ready to have a system that helps to take your gifts, your skills, your experiences, and your expertise to the next level, building brands that are profitable based off of the brilliance that you already carry, I am so excited. I will be launching my Monetize Me method that will be dropping Thursday, October 30th, and I want you to get on the wait list so that you can be the first to get it when the doors open. I'm putting the link in the description so that you can get on that wait list, because you do not need more motivation. You need a system that helps to pay you with what you already carry. Now, if this episode blessed you, please share it with your sis, share it with someone who needs it. Let the folks know. Tune in on all platforms as well as YouTube, of course. And I'll see you on the next episode where we will really start to get into my Monetize Me method, and I will talk about how to build a system that helps you to monetize your brand. Until then, y'all be blessed. As always, God is good all the time, and every setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback. Mwah.